it going, everyone? Cody, guys, back again, dropping another video. Right, guys, a lady's asked me to do a video on advice for a loved one that's left prison after several years. So they want to know from a family's perspective. It sounds like the lady's never been in trouble, and her loved one sounds like he spent several years behind bars, and I think he's due to be released very soon. And she wants to know like any bits of advice, right? And do you know what? I'm gonna do the video. So this is for the lady. I won't name her, but this is for the lady. So yeah. So when you're in prison, guys, right? Some people know they're going to prison. Some people just get cherry picked up off the street, and then they get remanded or charged or whatever, or they get recalled to prison or something, right? And when you're out and you're free, life is like, the race of life is fast, it's fast paced, everyone's going about the business, like commuting, trams into town, trains, cars, everything else, things are going at a million miles an hour. And then you've gone from living that life, and then you picked up, and then you've gone to trial or you've been remanded and you dropped into prison, right? And depending on what prison you're in, you're going to spend a lot of time behind your door. Like I say, some prisons get more association and exercise than others. But regardless, across the board, you will end up spending a long time behind your door, right? In prison, in your cell, right? So, and in prison, guys, right? Prison, people can relate to this. If you've been in prison, let me know what you think about the next comment, right? In prison, the minutes feel like hours, the hours feel like days, the days feel like months, and the months feel like years. Right? It is that fucking. Sometimes it flies, but for the most part, that's just the general consensus. So yeah, you'll have to let me know what you think about the time in prison. So, and then you're in prison, it's the same rigmarole day after day, the same routine, the same routine, the same routine. Yeah, bang up, get out for food, bit of association, shower, back behind your door, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. You live the same regime every day, every week, every month, every year, right? Then eventually it comes to time where you're due to get out, right? So you'll go to the pre-discharge clinic, which is healthcare. The doctor will weigh you, give you the once over to make sure that you're fit to be released. Then you end up on a wing, and then eventually your money, the night before you get out, you'll go to check the kiosk. The kiosk is like an electronic job point, and you'll see that your money's all been taken out your account and all your phone credits gone off and everything, because you're going to be released in the morning, right? That night, yeah, you do not sleep, right? You struggle to sleep because you're so buzzing and excited, and your brain's ticking overtime. You're going to see your missus, you might have kids, you might go back to your wife, or you might go back to your husband. There's obviously women prisoners, right? And then you don't sleep that night, and then you get up in the morning, you'll have your breakfast, and then eventually the screws will say, right, it can be any time in the morning, right? Like, it can be like from 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, right? Some people even get in the afternoon sometimes, depending on if it's a bail up and stuff, right? So you get called down, you bag up all your stuff, right? You've already done it because you know you're getting out, right? And then that's it, you bag all your stuff up, you go down to reception, stuff, right? Then you do all your little bits, yeah, you get your money back, you get your prop back, you get your phone back, keys, wallet, all that sort of stuff, right? Clothes, everything. Put it into your prison hall doors, and you're out the gate. Right, now your family are there waiting, right? Now this is to the families, right? Your loved one, right? Where the race of life, while your loved one's been in prison, the race of life's continued. You're still going to work, you're still picking the kids up from school, you're still running that daily regime, yeah? And things are going at a million miles an hour. Your loved one has went from running the race of life, right, going at a million miles an hour, living life at a fast pace, to being cherry picked and dropped in prison, right? And where the race of life has carried on, your loved one's been sat there climbing the walls in a fucking prison cell, bored out of his nut, living the same regime, eating the same food, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. It will take some adjusting, right, when you get out, yeah? Now, when you pick your loved one up, right, just Like I'll give you an example. When I got out, my mum was talking to me. No, the first time I got out of prison, it was a girl that I was with at the time, my Cody's sister and her husband, right? Great bunch of people, right? Who stood by me while I was in prison and stuff. And I got in the car, and my head was fucking bamboozled, yeah. Like everything was just going at a million miles an hour. Everyone was talking. I've been used to being in a quiet cell, yeah, man. So I was just like, whoa. Cars were going at a million miles an hour. Trees were, as I was driving, the trees were flying past. I was like, whoa. My head was all over. Right, it literally was like, I felt like I was in a fast forward film, right? That's the best way to describe it. So when your loved one gets out of prison, right, it's going to take him, if he's been behind bars for several years, right, it's going to take him time to get back into the run of how things work. Don't get me wrong, he'll be buzzing to be out, but it's a shock to the system when you first do get out. Like I say, everyone's carried on living the race of life, and life's carried on at a million miles an hour, and you've been stuck in a prison cell where you don't know what's been happening outside your door, outside your landing, outside the wing, you know what I mean? You're relying on the news or your loved one on the phone telling you what's been going on. So your loved one's in the car, you picked him up, right? He's in the car with you. He'll be talking and stuff, but he'll be taking everything in. His brain will be overloaded. It's like boom, boom, boom. His brain will be going at a million miles an hour because there's all this stuff happening. He's excited, he's buzzing, but it's a shock to the system. Just like when you go into prison for the first time, it's a shock. When you get out after a long time, it's a shock to the system. You need to give your loved one time to let them go at their pace, right? If they want some quiet time and stuff, and they go and put themselves in the bedroom or something, just give them time to get used to life on the outside and stuff. When you've been living in a fucking prison bed and stuff. When I got out of prison, I've got a king size bed, right? And because when I was in prison, I had a single bed. Even though I had a king size bed, I was sleeping on like 1/4 of the bed because I was so used to sleeping in a single bed that having a king size to myself blew my mind a bit, and I just slept in that 1/4. It does take time to readjust to life, time scales and stuff. Like some people just get out of jail and don't give a fuck, right? If you've been away for several years though, in them several years, technology's changed, fucking transportation, cars, buses, trams, they've all been modernized and like modified and stuff, and everything's new, right? And even when I got out of prison, my mum gave me a mobile, and I couldn't work out what to do, man. It took me time to get back into that. So like I say, it's just, I'm not going to tell you how to suck eggs, but when your loved one gets out of prison, it's an adjusting time where they've got to readjust, and it's a bit of a shock to the system, and it will take time. The food, right, like fucking the food portions, things like that. When you're in prison, right, if you've been in a Cat A prison, when you get out of prison, your stomach's going to be shrunk, so you might order a big fat scran, right, but you can't eat it all because your stomach's shrunk because you've been in prison, you've been on the HMP diet. Just give your loved one time to readjust, slowly ease them back in. Don't throw them back into life and stuff, because it can just go fucking hell, it can just go over the red. You need to give them time to adjust and stuff, and let them pick up the surroundings and everything. Like I say, some people know what I'm talking about. Some people won't be able to relate to it. You're out of prison, you're buzzing. Of course you're buzzing. But like I say, imagine being away for several years, right? Living, breathing, prison, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for several years, right? You're going to be institutionalized to an extent. So when you get out, you've got to take everything in, right? I remember once, right, when I was first went to prison, and I was transferred from Strangeways. I went to a court, and from the courthouse, I ended up going from Strangeways to court. From the court, I went to Forest Bank, right? And I was in the sweatbox. Or for those that don't know, the sweatbox is the prison van. Geo Amy, fucking, you sat in your fucking blacked out windows, like, and you just look out, and you're just looking at cars and trees and people walking, and I was just looking out the window, just like watching everything going mad and everything. And then when I got out of prison, then I was back in prison, right, and I've been in prison for a few months, and I'd not seen a car or nothing. So when I got out of prison, life was just, the car was going and people were talking, and I was like a rabbit caught in the headlights. That's the best way to probably describe it. If you've been in prison, how did you readjust when you got out? Did you find it easy? Did you struggle? Did when you get out, did you see that things were going fast and everything was like a fast forward film or something, or did you just take it in your stride? Was it like, yeah man, I'm free? You have to let me know, guys. But my personal experience, guys, when you've been in, right, whether it's months or years, right, prison does funny things to people, and you get used to the prison routine. You get your head down at a certain time, you wake up at a certain time, right, because you get unlocked for breakfast. And then all of a sudden you're outside and you've got to, the first thing you'll have to do, you'll have to go to probation, right? Unless you got out on a bail application. But if you've not and you've been sentenced, you've been in prison years, you have to go probation and stuff. But like I say, it is an adjusting time. It takes time to adjust from prison life back into civilian life, right? But the weird thing is, after you've been out of prison and if you went back to prison, you know the script of prison. Some people thrive more in prison than they do on the out. Some people despise prison and just want to be free. Other people prefer to be in prison because they might not have a roof over their head or family or loved ones and things like that. But it is definitely a shock to the system when you first get out. Everything will just blow your mind. So like I say, you'll have to, for the lady, right, when your loved one gets out of prison, right, just slowly integrating back into society. He'll be buzzing to see you and the kids or whatever, right, if you've got kids with him. But it is an adjusting time where you've got to slow it down and just take. If you throw too much at him at once, it could overload his brain, right? But like I say, he'll be buzzing to be out, but he'll have so many things he wants to do in his head, right? And it's just, and then you've got everyone's talking and you're living miles an hour. You've been sat in a cell for, when I was in Strangeways, I was 23 hours a day watching fucking shit TV and Jeremy Kyle and shit on TV, and then next minute I'm outside and I'm free, and it's like, whoa, it really is an adjusting time. It takes time to readjust. It can take you weeks, it can take months to readjust. Some people it takes minutes, right? Like I say, some people that are in and out of the system, they're just like, they deal with it and bam, bam, bam. But if you've been in behind bars for a long time and you get out, it's going to be a shock to the system. And you're going to need to slowly reintegrate into society and stuff, and take it slow, because you don't want to do too much too soon, because it'll fucking fry your head, fry your brains. You guys will have to let me know. I hope this answers the questions for the lady. I know I'll keep going on about readjusting into society and integrating and stuff. It's because it's a shock to the system, and you don't want to overload your loved one. Right, that's all I'm saying. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it here. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know your experiences when you've got out of prison, if it's taking time to readjust and everything. Hopefully this video answers a few questions for the lady. I know that I've waffled on a bit, but I hope you get the sense of what I'm trying to say. All right, guys, going to leave it here. Bye.